Hey, I just wanted to start a video log, a vlog. I think I might try to make it a kind of daily thing. We returned to Laramie yesterday evening. Today is August 5th, Tuesday. And we were in Fort Collins, Colorado, and in Loveland, Colorado. But the evenings were a little warm there in the last few days, so it was enough to disrupt our sleep. It's at around 4,800 feet, I think, elevation, and so Laramie is like 7,220, so it's a lot cooler here at night. It's in the 50s and 40s. And there's like zero humidity here pretty much. Fort Collins had some humidity. Not as much as Kansas City, not even close. So it's a lot easier to exist here. It's like a high desert kind of environment. Like there's cool wind, and even in the day, the sun is hot, I guess, at these altitudes, but it's dry. So like if you get in the shade, it's cool. If a breeze hits you, it's cool. So it's a lot easier to be here. So far we're handling the higher elevation better. We had previously gone from Kansas City to Laramie and then straight up into the Medicine Bow Mountains. So we went from about 900 something feet to almost 10,000 feet. And at points I was above 10,000 feet when I was hiking. So we really struggled. we realized at some point after a week or two, we were like, wow, I don't feel good. And Nikki's oxygen was like getting below 90% saturation, I guess is how it reads. She has one of those oximeters you can get and put on your finger. And so she we decided, after researching and talking to my sister who's a nurse, that we should go down in elevation for at least a while. So that's why we originally went to Fort Collins, or to Loveland and then Fort Collins. And so we were there for about a week, and it seems to have allowed us to recover, but still it seems like has allowed us to adjust to higher elevation than Kansas City or sea level, because that was almost 5,000. So I guess your body makes more red blood cells when you are at higher elevations, because there's less oxygen per breath. So we're a little better prepared now than we were before, and we're doing pretty good. Nikki's oxygen levels have been good, 95 and above, and I feel good. We love Laramie, Wyoming. We're in love. I'm looking at notes. So it's a really slow-paced town. Like, you can drive around town pretty much any time, any day of the week, and people aren't in a rush. People are just chill. You don't have people honking horns, really, hardly. You don't have people revving engines, whipping around people. It's so chill, and that's more like how we are with driving, at least. So people are nice. People are friendly, which, that's just not the case in a lot of places, especially Kansas City. Kansas City's probably the worst place we've been in the past year in our travels around the country, as far as a number of things, especially the people, the drivers, just the day-to-day interactions. You wouldn't think that'd be the case, that people are basically the same, but no, it's different. It can be pretty significantly different. Like here, people are just friendly. They are patient. They give you space. They're not crowding you on the road or in stores or treating you like an inconvenience when you're a customer. it's wild how different it is. And for that matter, Colorado was a lot better too, even though it was like Fort Collins was a larger town. It was still pretty friendly. The weather here, like I talked about, is great. Like a high desert, it just stays cool. And we talked to some people that live here, and they say in the winter it's not really that bad because the sun shines a lot and it warms it up. So you're never just, for the most part, you're not like just freezing to death even in the winter. So the University of Wyoming is also here, and that is something we love. I love, and I think Nikki loves libraries, especially university libraries. I've always loved those. I just love them, and I've realized, and I've learned. I've called a lot of different university libraries in different places I go, and they've all been said, yes, we're open to the public, and they encourage it. They want that, it's for the community. Librarians are, for the most part, big into freedom of access to knowledge and stuff. And these libraries have just vast amounts of thoroughly vetted, high quality information, that used to be off limits to most people. You had to pay for a college degree, and that's, you can go in there and you can learn whatever you want to learn, whatever you're able to learn, and it's free, and it's a place to get peace and quiet and solitude and to work on stuff, and they're just amazing. So the University of Wyoming, Laramie, is a nice large library. They even advertise, I guess, that they're consider themselves a third place, kind of like work one, home one, work two, and then a third place. So they want people to use those places. There's no adjacent towns to Liberty. There's no. It's a small town, and there's no towns around it. It's just desert pretty much around it. if you just walked off in a direction, you're gonna be like agua. So like it's awesome, but it's like, it's small. So for DoorDashing, you don't ever have to go very far. You if you're a DoorDasher, you know what I'm talking about. Occasionally you might get sent pretty far to an adjacent town or a couple of towns over, and because this is so isolated, that doesn't happen. So you're never doing really long drives, which is great for gas and wear and tear, and you're not wasting time returning to your DoorDash zone, and everything is close together. That's another great thing for van life. We have to drive to different places for different things, like showering at Planet Fitness, finding a park for cooking, or a place to exercise or run, a place to sleep. Well, in Laramie, it's so small that all of those things, it has all those things, but they're all pretty close. So that saves us time and gas and wear and tear, and that's pretty huge, really, because we were, like in Kansas City, we were eating up a ton of time going to just take a shower at Planet Fitness over in Kansas City, in northern Kansas City. So that is a huge thing we like. Also, they have mountains and national forests and wilderness areas just 30 minutes away, pretty much, on either side, east or west of us. So we love nature and going out and just camping out and hiking and doing things, and you can get there just really quickly, and it's pretty accessible. The parks in town are pretty good. The water, electricity, bathrooms, the water, there is water, but it's not at the parks, but that's not a big deal. And people seem pretty laid back about us being there. We haven't had any problems. There's great running trails in and around town. There's like this big conservation area at the east end of town that's just awesome. It's right next to everything, and it's just like you go over there and you just feel like you're in the wilderness, but you're really also right next to everything. There's Another thing we like is it's not pretentious here. It is like we fit in here. Like our car is old and got some rust, and so do a lot of the cars. So are a lot of the cars, and they do have rust. And they're small homes. You know, you can tell there's not really HOAs for the most part. Like people have unkept lawns and exteriors, and you know, it's kind of like live and let live. You can tell that people are just free to kind of just exist in that sense, and we like that because that's kind of how we are. And it's clean and respectable, but it's just not like stiflingly pretentious and controlled. So that was kind of my vlog, I guess, for the day. There was a topic I've been working on. I think maybe for an article I'll do. I might save that for the next one because this was a lot of information probably already. So the topic is on procrastination and just some thoughts I had on that and stuff. So, but anyway, all right. Thanks for watching. Good night.